system engineering, system design, and OOP is pretty much a staple of programming as a data scientist. So the domains I cover typically are, again, computer vision, natural language processing, as well as a bit of finance and medical imaging. And the languages that I utilize in my daily life vary. Typically, mostly it's Python, with a bit of R. C++ is used for optimizing algorithms on the edge. And MATLAB is sometimes used in academic settings for testing different algorithms. So within Python, there are a lot of different libraries such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Scikit-learn, PyTorch, TensorFlow, Keras, Caffe, a computer vision practitioner's basic toolkit, which is OpenCV, and NLTK and Spacey. So think of these as Lego blocks that you as a data scientist professional will be using to make your applications. For managing databases, we use MySQL and MongoDB, and some of the coursework which is related to my field, which kind of forms the base of it, is linear algebra, statistics, calculus, and optimization. So other skills that I use in my daily life, aside from these libraries, these domains, Git and GitHub are a staple if you are working as a computer scientist to save your code, collaborate with people. If you're working as a data scientist, then again, having access to data is really important, and that's where web scraping comes in. Most of the models that you see are trained from data on the internet. If any of you have used things like ChatGPT, that's trained on data scraped from the internet. Then we have web APIs to kind of access different services, including ChatGPT itself and GPT-4, Flask for deploying different models, as well as different tools for managing your data. So we have talked about a lot of technical stuff, but to the core of it, what do people, really talented people, people who are at the peak of this domain, what do they have to say about data in general? Well, there are 5 exabytes of information that was created between the beginning of civilization and up to the year 2003. Now, 5 exabytes is a huge amount of data. That encompasses everything that humanity has ever learned, written into books, stored. And now that much data is generated every 2 days, because since 2003, the usage of the internet has exploded. Like millions of minutes of videos, just videos, are uploaded to YouTube every day. So data is everywhere. And this is a quote by Eric Schmidt, who is an executive chairman at Google. Data is so important, like that, even though it's by a fictional figure, but it's a famous quote in one of the Sherlock Holmes books that it's a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Data really is the gold standard nowadays. That's why companies pay so much for your data. That's why a lot of services are free, because without data, they can't really make predictions on you. So data really is important to make decisions, really, really important decisions. And Peter Sondergrad, a vice president at the global head of research at Gartner, he said that information is the oil of the 21st century, and analytics is the combustion engine. Just like oil and the combustion engine, they revolutionized the world we have today because of the Industrial Revolution. Without those things, we wouldn't have our lives that we have right now. Well, data is the new oil. And that's why, like, all the companies, like, they provide you so many services for free just to get your data. Gmail is free, Google is free, Facebook is free. They're free because technically you are the product. They're collecting data on you, and then they sell those data to advertisers who, again, advertise to you. And Robert Calliope, an information engineer and a computer scientist who originally developed the World Wide Web in collaboration with DARPA, he stated that when we have all data online, it will be great for humanity. It is a prerequisite to solving many problems that humankind faces. Just go back 10 or 20 years ago when the internet wasn't really a thing. If you had to search something, you would have to go to the library or ask someone who was an expert in the field. But now even kids as young as 3 can just go on the internet and search what they're looking for. In the upcoming years, even more data will go online to the internet, and the access to that data will benefit humanity. And the need for data scientists to manage that data and to make sense of the data will only ever increase. So it's no mystery that data is kind of everywhere, and it's only increasing. And it powers pretty much everything that you do in your daily life nowadays. Formally, data can be defined as information, especially facts, numbers collected to be examined, considered, and used to help decision making. That's the formal definition. The data is just information. It can be information about anything. About you, for example, what you like, what you search for on Google, what types of things you buy. That's all data that's pretty valuable to a lot of companies. Saying that data is information, we can move on to some of the applications that use this data and that you really cannot live without. If you have ever used Google Maps or a GPS system, that's all built on data that's collected on the surrounds, information on where the buildings are, information about the roads, information about where traffic is, how long it will take you from point A to point B. That's all done using the data that's collected. And the system only gets better. Like Google Maps has been a thing for quite a while. I think Google Earth was a thing back in even 2008. But between then and now, like it has really changed the world. Paper maps are no longer a thing, and that's only because we have so much data. Online shopping is booming just because of like the data that's available and data science as a discipline growing. There's so many products out there, but to find the right product for you, that's something that these recommendation engines have to serve you. And that's where all the data they collect on you comes in. Even when it comes to urban planning and development, like data plays a huge factor, which areas are safe, which areas are geographically sound, the seismic activity, like that's all information, that's all data that comes into these really, really important decisions. Data is also being used to make things more efficient. Like, as you know, global warming is a huge problem, and a lot of companies are basically trying to reduce the carbon footprint. And one of the ways they're doing that is to see where the energy is wasted. And then that's them collecting data, and then they try to minimize it. And even like data-driven decisions, like pretty much any decision that's, and this has kind of historically been a thing, like even at a state level, even nations, whenever they had to make a decision, they couldn't do it without data. Now that's even more important. Any decision that any company makes, any even person makes, like that is driven by data. And that's kind of going to become more and more important as the data becomes more numerous, as it increases. The need for data scientists to manage it, to make it understandable, digestible, will only ever increase. So we talked a lot about data, and data is linked to data science. So what exactly is data science? So this Venn diagram kind of illustrates data science as being a combination of mathematics, computer science, and domain expertise. And within mathematics, you have statistics, you have probability. And broadly, these three core disciplines, they combine together to create the field of data science. Personally, I fit in most in the part with machine learning, but data science is a lot more. When you combine mathematics and domain expertise, that's where you get statistical research. When you combine computer science and domain expertise, that's data processing. And computer science and mathematics make machine learning, like because machine learning algorithms are all based on probability statistics. You combine all of them together, and then you have basically the domain of data science. And data science is basically the field that combines, like mentioned previously, domain expertise, the skills that come with programming, knowledge about mathematics and statistics. And the goal is to kind of get meaningful insights from the data to find patterns. And people who are practitioners of data science, they apply machine learning algorithms to numbers, to text, to images, to videos, even audio, and more to produce AI systems to perform tasks that ordinarily require humans to do. In turn, these systems generate insights which analysts and business users can translate into tangible business value. Basically, using this data, you can train AI models that can do a lot of the stuff that previously needed human beings to do. You can automate it and make it even better. And these algorithms, they give you insights. A good example is the stock market. That's basically data. When a stock of a particular company goes up, when it goes down, what factors affect it. It's a very challenging thing to predict, but there are algorithms that try to do so. And a lot of companies, a lot of really big companies which invest a lot in the stock market, they have a lot of these algorithms working in the background. And based on the insights provided by these algorithms, they then invest or they sell their shares. So what exactly is the point of being a data scientist? Now, well, for the first thing, it's really in the like mentioned previously, the amount of data that's in the world is only going to grow. It's not going to shrink anytime soon. And you need a way to manage that data. You need a way to get insights from that data. And data science is a very versatile field. Like it's an umbrella term which encompasses a lot of different subfields. So there's kind of a right fit for everything. And the third thing is it's kind of like being a detective. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of like a puzzle. For those people who get bored with repetitive things, data science is something where you kind of find patterns. It's like you being a detective. So it's really, really interesting. And it's interesting to do. And what it helps you to do is kind of eliminate all of the boring tasks. Once you get an algorithm up and running, it can really automate all of the boring stuff that you used to do by hand. And the fourth thing is that you really help as a data scientist, as a data professional, you really help to change the world. You help make better products, you help make systems better. Amazon, for example, if those of you who do use Amazon for online shopping, or even Spotify. Taking Spotify as an example, do you know why it's so good? Because it knows what kind of music it learns, and then it automatically recommends that music to you. Same with YouTube. Your home feed is your home feed. The videos that you see are custom tailored to you. And this is an example of products being smart to target their audience better. So, what are some of the applications of data science? Well, data science is so pervasive that it's going to be an exhaustive list to cover all of the potential applications, but some of the most common ones are data science for targeted advertising. Like this was one of the starting things, like one of the starting trends, where services like Google, services like Facebook, like that's essentially what they do. They collect data on you as a person, what you like, your preferences, your age, everything. Okay. Even your relationship status, they use all that information and they make a profile based on it and they sell that profile. Basically, they group you together and they sell that to advertisers. And advertisers who want to sell something, for example, if they want to sell a tech product, well, Google will automatically target the ads from the advertisers to people who are most likely to buy it. That's how these companies make money. Like, it has been a couple of years. I remember seeing an old post that whenever you get offered something for free, then you are actually the product. And that's essentially true with Facebook, with Google, with all of these services that are available for free, you are the product. So data science for internet research, internet search. Now search has changed quite a lot over the past few years. In the beginning, it was manually curated. Like back in the 90s when the internet became a thing, people used to manually put up pages that were kind of important, rank them, and that's actually kind of how Yahoo started, interestingly. But with the billions of websites that are out there, that's no longer possible. And search engines have gotten a lot smarter. They employ machine learning and deep learning algorithms behind the scene to tailor the results to you. If I, as a computer scientist, and if a biologist both search for a virus, they will probably get slightly different, you will get slightly different results. For the biologist, you will mostly get results from the medical room because Google kind of knows if he's logged in and using his own computer that this guy is mostly interested in the medical domain. Whereas for me, it will maybe tell me things about cybersecurity. That's kind of tailoring the results based on the particular user. And most of you would have heard about Bing AI or even Google launching their own Bard AI, which are taking which is basically the next level of search engines using really, really smart NLP chatbot, like NLP algorithms to augment and make searching even easier. Data science for e-commerce is, again, also like an extremely booming field. Amazon is only as big as it is right now simply because of data science. Amazon started in the 1990s, and it just used to sell books. There were a lot of players that were bigger than Amazon, and they've all been left in the dust simply because Amazon worked online, it used the data, and it made smart decisions based on the data. It was able to maneuver quickly, it was able to evolve quickly. And Amazon has taken over the world. Similarly, the story with Netflix. Netflix, when it started out, it was an online company that kind of rented out DVDs. It used that data, and there was once a time when Netflix was about to go bankrupt and it offered to sell itself to Blockbuster. Blockbuster laughed at the idea because they didn't really truly believe in an online service where data would be so valuable, where flexibility would be so valuable. But look at where Blockbuster is right now. It's no longer a thing, but Netflix is still, it is the king of streaming services. Then you have data science for education. Education is no longer what it used to be 10 or 20 years ago. It's really smart. You can tailor the courses according to, it's a new trend where you can tailor the education based on the person. Everyone kind of learns differently. Finding the most relevant courses, getting feedback from the students and automatically updating the contents. Like courses have become really smart. Like it's no longer you have a book and that's it. You just listen to the book. The book is the word of law. No, like even teaching has kind of evolved and it takes data as input and continues to evolve. Then you have data science for video streaming, where you have things like Netflix, where you have things like YouTube. YouTube, I don't think I really search for videos unless it's on a very particular topic on YouTube. Most of the time when I go to YouTube, the video I'm going to watch is probably on the homepage. And the algorithm knows my preferences well enough that it can recommend me videos that I will most likely watch. So that's basically how YouTube works. And that's essentially all TikTok is. If those of you who use TikTok or even Reels or even Facebook, even Reels or all of the other short form content websites, like it's all based on algorithms. The algorithm learns what you like and it shows you videos automatically. You have no input over it. And it's really good and it's really addicting. It's scary how good it is. And it's all built on data. So we talked a bit about what data science is and where some of the biggest uses of it in the field. But what exactly does the process look like? Well, the first step is obviously as a data scientist, you have to obtain data. Like mentioned before, data is one of the most valuable resources of the 21st century. And it's only going to get more difficult to obtain data as time goes on, but it is a really valuable resource. Those of you who know about those image generation AIs that are able to make AI art, like there's a huge fight going on, a legal battle between the AI community and the artist community, because the artists say they did not consent to training of their for the use of their art in training those models, and they do have a valid point. So as time goes on, the data that is available will become more and more restricted. But it's the core part as a data scientist to obtain that data. That's the first step. And the data that you do get, the process is sometimes called data mining. And as with mining in the traditional sense, where you mine for precious stones, what you're going to get is not the final product. You kind of have to then clean it. If it's like iron, then you get iron ore. You need to process it. And that's similarly for the data science analog, you have to scrub your data. You have to get rid of all of the things that are non-relevant. You have to clean your data because usually it's just going to be a mess. After you have scrubbed your data, then the next thing is basically to explore it. You have to put on your detective hat and then you have to take a look for patterns. This is what makes it interesting. It's always a puzzle. You always find some interesting things. You find different patterns, you find things, relevant things in your data, okay? And that helps you to basically choose a model or to construct a model to make predictions. So you obtain the raw data, you clean it, then you explore it, you take a look at it, try to understand it. Then you feed it to a model that uses that data to make some predictions. That prediction can be if, let's say, the data that you're using is about stock prices and the model is one that predicts the stock prices, then basically as an output, you'll get whether the stock will go up and down, and then you can use that to invest on that. Now, whether your model performs good or not, that's another question, but this is essentially what is happening in the stock market. No one just randomly guesses and just randomly invest in stocks, at least none of the people who are successful. So talking a bit more about the industries that benefit the most from data science, like banking and securities is one of those domains which is kind of protected and growing, and the lifeline basically of banking and security is kind of data science. You know how many transactions are performed in any given second in a bank? Keeping track of the exchange rate, keeping track of how much money you have in your bank account, keeping track of fraudulent activities. One time I was traveling to another European country, first time, I had to use my ATM card to draw some cash and my card got blocked because they thought it was a fraudulent activity, which, to be fair, I'd never been to that country before and it was weird because I also didn't really withdraw cash, but it automatically detected that activity. So all of this behind the scenes, it's using data, it's using these algorithms to do things automatically. No one is counting money in your bank account manually. No one is keeping track of what the exchange rate of the dollar is versus, let's say, the euro. It's all happening automatically through the use of algorithms. Media and entertainment is also like the beating heart of it is data science. The amount of videos you have on YouTube, I don't even think 10 lifetimes is enough to just consume the amount of just material you have on YouTube, and that's just one website. So how do you find things you like in all of that? How do you find it? It's kind of impossible if you have to search for things yourself to watch. So this is where these algorithms come in handy. They recommend stuff that you would probably like according to your tastes. And that's why data science is so pervasive in media and entertainment. And that's why Netflix and all of these digital streaming services are so dominant. Pharma and the healthcare industry are also like heavily influenced by the domain of AI and data science. Most of the times, new drugs that are created, AI has a part of it in most of the cutting edge medications. Even in the development of, for example, when it came to the COVID pandemic, analyzing the spread of the disease, developing predictive models that kind of determine how many different variants of the coronavirus there were. Like, that's all data science. in combination with medical expertise from the medical domain. So data science really is pervasive, even in education. Like I mentioned before, education is not what it used to be when we were kids. Education is changing. Education is continuously evolving. Every day, new research comes along that shows how something learning a certain way is better. And data science plays a huge part in that. When it comes to manufacturing, optimizing your industry, cutting down costs, that's all like data science, and particularly my own field, robotics, which has a huge link with AI. There's a part of data science. Like it has a huge role in manufacturing. Gone are the days where you had people, mostly people working in factories making whatever they're making. Most of the big factories that make cars, 50 years ago, it was all humans. Now it's mostly robots. Some of the tasks still require humans, but robots have replaced the majority amount of work that humans used to do. And it's all powered by AI. It's all powered by algorithms. It's all powered by data. The insurance industry is really big, especially in countries like America. But with insurance, you have to, like, the rate of insurance that you have to pay, it increases the more at risk you are. Let's say you have to get car insurance. If you have been in an accident before, or if you have traffic violations, then your cost will kind of go up. It will really balloon. So there are algorithms that kind of automatically determine what to charge a person for the insurance, how to attract more customers. So the insurance industry is similarly based on this. When it comes to transportation, transportation is similarly built, like modern transportation uses data a lot. Even transportation in olden times did, but now it's even more important. Where to design routes, what is the most efficient mode of transportation? How frequently should these public transports run? So data science plays a part here. In government as well, making policies. Most of you must have heard about AI lawyers. Like it was a thing that a company tried. I don't know how it went, but essentially they wanted to replace lawyers with an AI chatbot. And AI is kind of already, it is used to search through laws, to search through regulations, and in the upcoming years, it will only increase. The use of AI will only increase in helping better the policies and also understanding and getting rid of old policies that no longer make sense. There are some laws which are kind of so old that they don't really make sense anymore. They're really stupid in today's day and age. Maybe laws that were 200 years old. And that's the thing in some countries, especially in Europe and America. When it comes to energy and utilities, data plays a huge part here. Now you have kind of, in my own home, you have smart meters, which not only tell you how much you've used, but they also predict based on previous usage how much you will consume at the end of the month. And if this consumption rate continues, how much you consume at the end of the year. Retail and wholesale also are based completely on data. The prices to set, the supply and demand, how to match it. Like data science is completely and utterly pervasive here. So this graph right here, it kind of shows you the trend of jobs in the domain of data science. Because the data only ever increases, so does the demand. Working with data was a thing, and it has been a thing since golden times, but the term data science and it becoming formally a discipline, that's more recent. And from 2005 up till 2020, okay, there has been almost like a more than 1,000% increase compared to 2015. And this is only projected to grow up because the amount of data is just going to grow and the need for skilled people is also going to grow. So as a data scientist, what do you use most often? That's a question that gets asked a lot. There are a lot of tools that you might use in your daily life as a data scientist during your work. The most commonly used one that pretty much most data scientists have used in their work is Python. There are other tools like RapidMiner, the R programming language, Excel, which is mostly in business intelligence, Anaconda, SQL, which is a database management. Uh, it's used to manage databases. You have TensorFlow and Keras, which are frameworks for deep learning, Scikit-learn, which is a framework for machine learning, and Tableau, which is useful for visualization. So Python is by far the most commonly used thing. And the question might be asked, why is Python essential for data science? Well, numbers really don't lie. And if the numbers are to be believed, then Python is the most popular programming language in the world, at least for data science, alongside Java, which is the most popular thing for web development. And the reason for its popularity, there are multiple reasons. Some of the reasons are that, number one, it's a free and open source language. Believe it or not, there was a time where languages were not free and open source, but Python has a lot of packages. It's free and open source as version. It has an enormous community. If you want to do something in Python, chances are someone else has already done something exactly the same or maybe similar. So you never have to start from scratch. You have packages, you have things that make your development easy. To make a development process as easy as possible, only learn Python. Like as a data scientist, if you can only learn one language, Python is it. Just by learning Python, you can become, just solely by learning Python, you can become a really competent data scientist. And it's kind of the first step, the first essential step. And Python is a unique language that has powerful growth and multiple career opportunities for data science. Like Python is not just limited to data science, but like I mentioned, data science itself is a very broad umbrella term, and it's a skill that will only give you a lot in return for mastering, for grasping, and it's very easy to learn. So that's enough talk about data science and Python. Let's actually get our hands dirty and try some examples with Python. So just give me a few seconds to share my screen and switch to our coding environment. So sorry, are you able to see the screen right now?
Moise, we are still stuck at the PPT.
Let me resume the screen share. So is the screen visible right now? Okay. So this is basically a very beginner friendly and a very powerful coding environment for Python. Technically, it's called a Jupyter's Notebook. Okay. And it is hosted for free. Like through Google, you can access these powerful Jupyter notebooks for free, and Google calls this service Google Colab. It's free to use, anyone can use it. And you don't really have to install anything on your system to start getting your hands dirty in Python. So the interface is really, really simple. And I'm going to guide you a bit through how it works. We have these things called blocks. And these blocks can be either text blocks or they can be either coding blocks. Just to show you, this right here is a text block. And I can write anything I want in it. So let's say hands on with this, and I can make it bigger. Pressing Shift Enter, okay, allows it to execute, and I have this right here. So this is kind of like a text block. And these things right here with these triangles, with these play buttons, are the code blocks. This is where you actually write your code. And coding in Python is so simple. Just to show you a very simple example, and I'm going to go over it in a bit. We're going to add two numbers together. Pretty basic. So to do that, we will create variables, and I will explain what variables are in a second. So x is equal to true, and y is equal to 3. Okay. I'm going to add another text block below. I'm going to call it finding the sum of two numbers. And that's like in simple mathematics, that's pretty easy. So x plus y. If you are on this, it will run, and I click this, and it will give me the result. Now, most of you who remember from mathematics the concept of a variable is something that can have different values, right? This is something that we all studied in middle school. So the concept of a variable is very simple, even if it's similar in computer programming. Think of a variable as a specific container. I'm going to draw two containers right here with two different colors. The colors, they represent basically the type. So one kind of container can hold a certain type of data, in this case, numbers. So it can hold this 2, and it can also hold this 3. So you have a variable called, again, you have a variable called x, and similarly, I also have a variable called y. And these variables, they hold my data. X holds the value of 2, and y holds the value of 3. Pretty simple. That's all there is to variables. But like I mentioned before, variables have different types, similar to how data is of different types. Another common form of variables is called as strings, which is text that you encounter a lot in your real life. And I'm going to show you how strings work in a bit as well. So I'm just going to clear this. And I'm going to move on to strings. So how strings work. So a string is basically text, and like with any other kind of data, you can store it inside of a variable, okay? And the variable can be named anything, okay? You can name it anything, just it cannot start with a number, and it cannot have any spaces in it. So let's say I call this variable name, and inside of it, I'm actually going to store my name. So in this case, my name is Moise, right? And I'm going to show you another powerful thing, which is called the print statement, or printing out strings. And the way it works is pretty simple. I'm going to add another code block. This is where I created the string. And I can also add comments, and comments basically help to explain your code. To add a comment in Python, you add the hashtag. And in this case, I'm just going to say that this variable stores my name inside it. Similarly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this sentence. So I'm going to write another comment. And the way comments work is anything that comes after this hashtag, it is not code. It is just there for you to understand. It's just for you to read. It doesn't get executed. The only thing that gets executed is the thing without the hashtag. So I'm going to print something out very simply. So let's say, who are you? And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that name. So I'm going to use it in combination with my variable print. And the print statement, what it does is, it does it, as the name says, it's like English. Like the print statement prints things to the screen. Okay. So I'm going to write my name is, and after that, I am going to add basically, or to this, I'm going to attach my name. And what will happen is it will basically, when you run it, it will become parent, it will print my name is Moise. And actually I should remove this column. So pretty simple. I can change the name here because it's a variable, I can change the value. So I can change the value to be, let's say, Sam. So running this again, if I run the code again, since it's a variable, my name is Sam. Similarly, I can show the results of the addition. Okay. So let me add another text box. Say result of the addition. And after that, I'm just going to print. Okay. And the result of the addition is plus y. And once you run this, minus a plus, and presto, the result of the addition is 5. It's pretty basic. It's pretty easy to kind of understand. It's like basic English. One of the reasons Python is so popular is because of the low learning curve. Most of the stuff is based on the English language. You have the same operators for addition, sum, attaching things together. In this case, I'm kind of combining two strings together. A string is just basically text. Any text is called a string. In this case, I'm just attaching a string and also adding the number to it, or showing the number alongside it. So pretty simple, pretty basic. Just like the addition operation, there are a lot of other operations for it. We can do subtraction, and I'm just going to add a text box. Performing, let's say, other operations. So in this case, I'm going to multiply the numbers together. So let's say to multiply two numbers together, it's pretty simple. If I want to, I can use a variable. If I don't want to, I can just multiply them as is. So I'm just going to use a variable. So x, and to multiply, it's basically the star symbol, y. If you run this, that's basically multiplication. And similarly, I can do x minus y. And I'm just going to add to this basically the information of what I'm doing. It's always good to comment. And once you run this, you can answer -1. Similarly, I'm going to add a comment here. So this is all pretty basic, and it doesn't really get more complicated. It's one of the easiest languages to learn, and basically anyone without any formal background in programming, they can learn Python. Like it was kind of designed for people with no background in programming. So as things currently stand, data science is built using Python. If you know Python, which is very easy to learn, you can become a data scientist. So let's try some other examples as well. Just one more example, and in this case, let's print out my occupation and what I do. And I want you to basically predict what happens as a result. So let's say that occupation is equals to data SCINTOST. And I'm just going to shorten it because occupation is really, really big. So again, like I mentioned, a variable can be anything. Name is equals to Sam, and it's a string, so Sam, and that's fine. And I'm going to print this. Print my name is name was and my occupation is as a. So I have a question. What do you think will happen? I want you guys to take a guess. So what do you think will happen? And just take a guess. What do you think will happen? Anyone? It's pretty simple. What will happen is it will start printing my name is, okay, followed by whatever was the value in the variable. In this case, it was Sam. Then it will continue with and my occupation is as a, and whatever the value is in data scientist. So if I were to run this, what happens is it prints this whole sentence, and it should have been a space here, which is why Sam and Anne have been combined. So let's add a space here. And as you can see, it says my name is Sam and my occupation is as a data scientist, and there should also be a space here. So very simple. Let's maybe try another example. So print. Let's say A is equals to 32. B is equals to 10. Print. The value is so what do you think will happen now? You have a value of A, which is 32, and a value of B, which is 10. Any guesses?
Right, and just to add to that, guys, you are sending you answers to me. So Moise
Ah,
won't be able to. So make sure you answer to him, all right? We got a lot of answers to Moise, but I see that most of them were to me. So just wanted to, notify
okay.
that.
Thank you for letting me know. So it's also pretty simple. I'm sorry I can't see your answers, but it's pretty simple. It's just going to perform. So basically, it converts it into a string, and the answer will be the value is 32 minus 10, which is 22. So the answer is 22. And since I did, and some of you are close, for example, minus 22, but in this case, since I did a minus b, and a is bigger, so it's positive 22. If I were to flip it, then it will be minus 22, minus 22, if I did b minus. But great job, you get the concept, you understand it, and this is just a very basic like walkthrough, and you're able to understand it, and that's simply because Python is it is really easy to understand. Like there's a reason why it is the most used tool in data science, and it's one of the most popular programming languages because it is so easy to use, and it doesn't really get much difficult. And anyone with any background can learn Python. There are other languages which are difficult, like C++, for example, which is what I learned in my engineering undergraduate. It's a much more difficult language. That there's the reason it's not really used for higher level stuff like Python. And it's not as popular as Python. It has its own uses, but Python is really easy to learn, and anyone can learn it in a very short amount of time. But it does require practice. Just because something is easy doesn't mean that you can learn it without practicing. You need to practice, you need to be consistent, and anyone can do that. And mm, so, any questions?
All right, Moise, thank you for all the insights. And as Moise already mentioned it, guys, data science is not rocket science. It's not a property only for people who are coming from technical background. In the past 5 years that I've been working with the learners all across the globe, more than 50% of the learners actually originate from non-technical background, to be more honest. People who have never done coding in the past. It's not only about coding, as Moise already mentioned, it's also about domain expertise. Understand the concept. It's about solving a problem using data. You cannot solve a problem until and unless you understand the problem. And that is what more or less you will be doing as a data science professional. Now, guys, this more or less brings us to the end of today's session. Now, if you have any questions, any doubt, anything that you want to ask, feel free to go ahead and type it in the chat box. I am also going to go ahead and allow all of you to unmute yourselves. So if you have any questions, you want to ask anything, for that matter, you can go ahead and do that right now. So any question, if you have, you can directly ping to me or Moise or to the host, and to both of us, and we can take it accordingly. So Moise, we have one question coming in. Daniel Neon has a question to say. He says that he is very eager to start. When is program starting? How is the daily schedule, including the work environment I'll be using? So let me go ahead and take this question. Okay. So for the program start date, Daniel, you can go ahead and connect with your counselor. We go ahead and publish the next batch starting date on our website also. We have a batch starting in a couple of weeks, so you can probably go ahead and join that. And we can go ahead and get it taken care of. The program is more or less a 6 months program that covers all the aspects of data science, in which we go ahead and also cover Microsoft Excel, SQL, Python, machine learning, Power BI, just to name a few. Complete curriculum can be found on our website. You can also go ahead and check with your program managers, and they can go ahead and enlighten you with the same. And yeah, we are looking forward to, having you into the program. All right. If you have any follow-up question, you can let me know, Danielle, and others also. If anybody has anything to ask, you can. You can unmute and ask also. You can go ahead and, just type it in the chat box also. Danielle
Yeah,
also wants to know yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Who am I speaking with?
my name is Olu.
Hi, Olu, how are you?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Great.
I am new into data science. I just joined around January. I've been trying to learn some courses via IBM, but
Okay.
sometimes I reach roadblock, and it's really crazy. First time doing this and the like. So it got to a stage that I needed to stop because I need a physical class. Maybe that's one of the main reasons why I actually joined this Zoom meeting. If it's something I can enroll for so as to continue, because I've done like five courses already, including data methodology, um data tools in data science, um, Python, AI, and development. I've done Python in data science also. But the main thing is when I reach roadblock, sometimes I don't know what to do.
That
So
happens.
yeah,
That
because it is very crazy. So I needed to call a friend of mine that is a cybersecurity guru, that should just help, and he doesn't know most of the things. So I was just like, okay, this is it, this is that, this is it. But it doesn't really know everything, because his field is different from the data science field. So yeah, it is one thing. So if I'll be joining for the lectures with you guys, how many hours will it be per day? Because I can take 2 hours per day.
Okay, okay. I got your question,
Yeah.
Olu.
So.
Well, your question is actually, multiple questions, as
Mm-hmm,
one. So I'll go ahead and break it one
mm-hmm,
after the other, and I'll try to answer most of them. Okay. So your first
mm-hmm,
question was about the roadblock. Now that is bound to happen.
mm-hmm,
See, Moise will
mm-hmm,
probably agree. When he started learning also, he went through a lot of roadblocks also.
mm-hmm,
As a data science instructor, he has helped a lot of people. I know that personally, because we got a
mm-hmm,
lot of people who said that it's bound to happen, and that is the charm of the course. So
mm-hmm,
first of all, let me tell you, the program that we are offering, it's an instructor led program. When there's a
mm-hmm,
person, who goes ahead and trains you, so the
mm-hmm.
learning is altogether different compared to pre-recorded videos, or anything for that matter. Okay, so
Right?
that's the
Mm-hmm,
advantage that comes into the picture. In addition to that, now just to be upfront, the program that we go ahead and offer, uh, we have internship as a part of this program. The idea
mm-hmm,
behind internship is to make sure that we test whatever you learned in theory and put it to reality. Now, all of us
mm-hmm.
know, and most of you will agree with this also. There's a huge difference between theory and practical. What you end up learning
Yes,
in a
yes.
class and what you end up doing in an office, these are two
Mm-hmm,
separate. Now, we try to go ahead and bridge that gap. Just to give you an idea, Xaltius started as an AI-driven company. So when we went and started the organization, when Xaltius actually started, we started as a data science company. We created software solutions. We embedded artificial intelligence into existing software that the companies already have. So this is something that we have been doing. Then we moved on to training the employees that the organizations had. Then we understood that yes, there's a huge gap between, when somebody joins an organization, it takes around 3 to 6 months to train them. Why can't be that a person who joins an organization is productive from day one? And that is how we
mm-hmm.
go ahead and impart the training. Now, it goes without saying, okay, and you can see in today's session also, I can tell you as a matter of fact, almost 80% of the people who have joined in the session today, they have never done coding in the past. You still have, a little bit of background, okay, compared to your
So,
peers.
like, how long is the internship, like duration?
Rishabh, the internship is for 2 months. Okay, I'll get back to you, Rishabh. Let me just
Yeah,
get done with Olu's question. All right.
yeah.
All right. So Olu, that's more or less the thing. In addition to the program that we offer now about the classes and the work. Okay, I got that message from Leslie also in the chat. So let me address that also. Our classes are actually held on Saturdays and Sunday. So we have 3 hours of classes on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. That's when the classes actually happen. But as Moise also pointed out, it's not magic that happens. You're not going to take admissions into Hogwarts and we have like a magic wand that we swing and you become a data scientist or something. There's going to be a lot of self-study that will be required. So you will have to put in almost an hour every day in order to go ahead and study. We do have doubt sessions that we go ahead and take for people who face roadblocks, like Olu already mentioned. So for that, we have everything in place. The idea behind internship, the doubt session, is to make sure that you go ahead and get past all the hurdles that you come across, all the roadblocks that you come across. And that is exactly how we have defined the program also. So it takes care of everything, and it's more or less designed in such a way that anybody can actually go ahead and learn data science. Let me bring Moise into this also. Moise, how many people have you trained who come from different backgrounds, and what's their experience? Would you like to go ahead and let the participants know today about that also?
Sure. So the people that I have trained come from varying fields, some from biology, some from engineering, some from completely non-technical fields. And towards the end of their classes, if they have put in the effort, all of them leave with the knowledge and experience necessary to move forward in the data science domain. So most of the people who come, they have no prior experience even with coding. So your previous domain, where you came from, your background, it doesn't really matter much. What matters is that you are consistent with the classes and that you actually do self-study. Like mentioned, that's not a magic wand. Like just sitting for those few hours in front of the screen is not going to make you like a data scientist. You do have to practice, you do have to put in effort.
That is true. And it's just like learning any other language, you need to speak in that. If when you learn French, when you learn German, what's the basic? You have to speak that language, right? Same is the case for Python also, right?
It's actually much easier. It's much easier than learning a language. It's much easier. At least you get feedback with what is wrong with the language. Programming is so much easier.
I easily go ahead. I compare learning data science to playing guitar, Every day, you have to go ahead and goof around with a guitar. First few weeks, it's going to be noise. And after some time, you start, the melody starts to click in. The same is the case with data science also, After some time, you'll understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and accordingly, it will happen. All right. I have another question coming in. Guys who are not speaking, please put yourself on mute so that there is no background noise coming in. Thank you. Alfredo says, I'm struggling with programming. What's your advice? So, Alfredo, if you can hear me, is your mic working? Can you be more precise about this question? Where are you struggling? What's the challenge that you're facing? But again, it does happen. You always need a guide, and that is what you pay for, more or less. In the world that we live in today, knowledge is more or less free. You basically go ahead and pay to make sure that when you get stuck, there is somebody to go ahead and help you, like a dedicated mentor or a guide, whatever you want to call it. May I ask what time the class every Saturday? So we have multiple batches running in. We go ahead and run our batches for multiple countries. We have students coming in from Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, from the Indian subcontinent, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. We have participants coming in from all over the Europe. We have participants from US, Canada. So there are multiple batches running in every month. So my best suggestion to you, Leslie, is you check with your counselor, with your program manager, and they can guide you the batch, the timing that suits you the best. And perhaps you can go ahead and do accordingly. Okay. All right. Anybody else has any more question that you want to ask? Anybody? I want to make sure all your questions are answered. Rishabh, you were saying something. You can go ahead and ask now. Daniel, I see that you have unmuted yourself.
Yeah,
Do you have a
hi. So I actually
Alish?
wanted to ask that, like how long is the internship duration and will it be like conducted after the program gets over, like in
No,
between?
internship is a part of the program, Rishabh. So
Okay.
internship starts in it's 2 months of internship, more or less, and that happens in the 5th and 6th months of the program. Now, as I already told
Okay.
you before in the beginning, if you go to our website, you'll get a better idea also. So Xaltius is an AI company. Okay, we have been
Right.
working on data science. That's how we started. Okay, so the internship you will be doing through us. Now, do not consider internship like a job, more or less, but it's more like a job simulation where you go ahead and work with real-time data. And it's to give you an idea how work is done in the real-time environment in an office. Let me be absolutely clear on that. When you go ahead and give an interview at the end, now the recruiter is not going to ask you questions like define data science in 350 words or something. Okay, it's always going to be more practical oriented. What have you done?
Right.
What projects have you done? What work have you done? Here is the data set. I want you to work with it. Now, the internships are designed to make sure that you're able to crack those interviews more or less. Okay, so we go ahead and try to impart that training, the practicality of it in the 2 months of internship that we offer.
So post the program gets over, like do we get any chances of like having interviews with any companies?
Rishabh, you do, but that totally depends on the country that you are in right now and the
India.
country that you're
So
targeting right now. So there are so many companies in India, that actually are hiring right now. Okay, so
okay, and if I want to apply for Singapore, then in that case, like am I eligible to like go ahead with this program?
well, I know a lot of people who actually have applied in Singapore and have got a job also. Same is the case
Hmm.
with other countries also.
Hmm.
Okay, so just to add to that. So
So somebody like who's not from Singapore, so like if they complete the program, so like can they land a job like in Singapore? Like
absolutely,
them,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. I have a lot of data scientists who are working in Singapore right now, coming from India. Okay,
Okay.
Maurice, you tell me, how hard is it, to get a job in, maybe Europe or somewhere in Asia or US as a data scientist?
So, like I mentioned in the beginning of this lecture, the amount of data is growing and the amount of people needed to manage that, to make the algorithms, it is only increasing. The amount of jobs will grow and thus your opportunities to get these jobs will also grow. But you need to polish your skills. There's no there's no shortage of jobs when it comes to this domain. Okay. But you need to polish yourselves and the job is yours.
The world is a one big
Right.
place right now, Rishabh, and with post 2019, after COVID, there's a lot of work from home opportunities also that are coming in. So I know a lot of people who are still in India right now, or in a different country altogether, and they are working for a company that is based in US or Singapore for that matter. So the
So
chances
like
are that you have
so
to make
it's
sure that your skill sets are precise.
yeah. And one more thing to add on. So like specifically like freshers who are like in the industry, so they struggle to get any job because they're having less experience.
That is true.
So if somebody who is who is a fresher in the data science industry, if he or she wants to land a job like outside India, so like for them, like is this program like beneficial?
Uh, Rishabh, I'll be absolutely clear on this. It's not
Hmm.
about the program that you do. Okay,
Yeah.
it's about the knowledge that you acquire at the end of the day. See, understand, if there is a classroom and there are 50 people in it, there's always going to be rank one, there's always going to be rank 50. So it
Right.
depends on you whether you will be the rank one or you will be the rank 50. Everybody
Okay.
cannot be the same post the end of the program. Now, coming back to your original question, that is, it's hard to land a job as a data scientist for freshers, more or less. That is absolutely true. From my experience, what I can talk about, I've taken interviews for, at least 100 different data scientists, to be honest. Most of the, there are some common mistakes that people do. okay, which we go ahead and train people also on, trying to avoid. First of all, you need to make sure that you're applying for the right job. Okay, if you end up applying for a job that requires 2 years or 5 years of experience, obviously you're bound to fail. Second of all, the organization. Third is the kind of resume that you're presenting. If you're looking for a job, that involves computer vision engineering, okay, so your resume should clearly state the knowledge that you have according to the job description that is posted by the company. Likewise, there are other multiple things that you need to do, and that is how we go ahead and groom you in your last month of training also. So when you go ahead and go with the internship in the end of the course, probably in the 6th month itself, there's a thing that we do that we call as employability enhancement program, in which we go ahead and help you prepare for this. Not only this, we also go ahead and help you prepare for the Big Four. So likewise, that's how it is. So this is again data science. You need to target yourself in the right direction. You need to know which organizations you have to target based on the knowledge and the skill sets that you already possess. If you go ahead and do it in the right way, okay, usually a common mistake that people do, let me highlight that. Everybody has one resume. You're not supposed to have one resume. You can have 5 or 6 different resumes also. Based on the job requirement, you can go ahead and present it accordingly. So, there are multiple things, practices, approaches that you can actually do. So as an institute or, as a person, anybody can go ahead and only get you a seat next to a recruiter. We can schedule your interviews, but at the end of the day, it's you who will have to go ahead and crack those interviews, right? I had a student in the past. Now that guy was absolutely brilliant, but he started choking when he went to a recruiter. So that's a different problem altogether. So, we have to deal it in a different way. We have to make sure that you get the control of the call. You go ahead and take the direction of the interview, as you want it to be. So again, there are multiple practices that we actually go ahead and follow in order to go ahead and, land a job. Now, having said that, I don't know, post the end of the program, you will go ahead and get a job in India or abroad. But I can tell you one thing absolutely for sure, that you will have the skill sets that one needs in order to go ahead and, start working as a data scientist. Your package can be high or low. You can be working for a startup. You can be working for Microsoft or IBM. But one thing is for sure, that you can go ahead and kickstart your journey, as a data scientist. That is something that I can assure. Right, Rishabh?
Right. So, like I got some points that you mentioned. So, like I'm basically looking to enhance my career in this field. So, the job guarantee thing is not something that you are actually telling about.
Rishabh, job guarantee, to be honest, doesn't exist, to be honest with you. There are people who actually
so yeah, it's tough to
nobody can guarantee anything. It all depends on how you are. As I said before, I can go ahead and make you sit in front of the recruiter at the end. Okay, but it's you who will have to go ahead and crack that interview.
Right.
Okay, and we have
So
done
we can fill the details over the website, and then somebody's gonna reach out.
How about this? I have your name with me, Rishabh. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn also if you want, or you can just go ahead and fill up the detail on the website as you said, and I'll arrange a call back for you from one of our counselors, and they can guide you through it. Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anybody?
Okay. So
Hi. Hello.
Yes. Okay. I'm trying to sound like me now. I have like I said earlier, I have like 5 courses already done in data science. So if I want to join, I know that I can start from the beginning with those that just starting to be a data scientist. So now, so is it that I'm going to tender my certificates for the courses I've done before, so that so that you guys will know where I'm going to continue from? Because right now, okay, I'm supposed to have in fact, I've even paid for the for my SQL and the likes program already, but I just need another different tutor to actually teach me, and that's why I haven't taken lectures on that. So is it that
You
I'm
can-
going to
you can
submit?
do one thing, you can share with us all those details, what you have learned in the past. Okay, see, the
Mhm.
point is, if I go ahead and start teaching you from somewhere in between, we don't really know, what your background is and if the basics is clear or not. So we can go ahead and
Mhm.
take like a test or something, get an understanding,
Mhm.
be absolutely sure, and accordingly
Mhm.
we can go ahead and assign you into, an existing batch that is already, at par with your
Mhm.
knowledge,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
accordingly we can go ahead and proceed further. So that can be arranged.
Mhm.
That can be arranged.
Mhm.
But this is
That's
more
why I
of
said,
a life thing. You have to connect with your counselor, and probably they will be, better in order to go ahead and, help you.
That's why I said that I can provide my
Yes.
certificates and my
Yes,
badge.
Olu,
You know, yeah.
share it with your counselors. Let me look at it, and
Mhm.
personally we'll
Mhm.
connect, and I'll get this
Mhm.
sorted out for you. Okay.
And another thing, I just want to buttress what the other guy that asked question. I want to
Uh-huh.
buttress what he said. You've really said it all. It is really not easy as a data as scientist entry level getting a job, but the main thing is to actually apply for job whereby there are some jobs they will not impose 1 year, 2 year experience. They will just tell you that lesser than 1 year. So the main thing is just to look for jobs that's actually feel goes aligned with what you have, just like what you said. And according to what the guy asked, I would like to say, as a data scientist, you can get a job anywhere in the world because according to my research, data science is actually a hot thing right now. It is a hot cause right now. That field is really a hot cake right now. So it is something that I will implore every one of us here that we should push on. Like it is something we should go for because when I did my research, I realized that if you're a data scientist, you can work as a data engineer to some extent. If you're a data scientist, you can also work as a data analyst, depending on the cost, depending on the cost and the certifications you have to yourself. So I think, guys, this data science is something that we should go for. Trust me. When I research data science entry level salary in the United States is $9,333 entry level in the United States, which means such course is a hot cake in the market right now. In the
That's
next five
twice
years,
the
trust
average
me,
salary in
people will
United
have
States,
jumped
by
out
the way. For those of you who don't know,
data
that's
science.
twice the average salary in United States. The average salary in United States is around $5,000. We're talking about almost twice that. And
Exactly.
just to add to that, what Olu
Exactly.
said, I personally know, data scientists from more than 60 countries. And as you mentioned, Olu, I started my career as a data engineer. Okay, I wasn't even so I call myself more or less an accidental data scientist. I didn't know that I'm going to become a data scientist, but that's what it turned out to be. So that's the thing. Olu, I'll have to hold you on a bit because I see that other people also have some questions. So let me move on to that. Alfredo has a
Yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah, 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 please.
I'll take that in a. After that, I'll go ahead and take your question also, Javier. I see that you've been trying for a long time. Just 1 minute, okay? Alfredo has a question. In Python programming, what are the recommended libraries for the field of data science? TensorFlow, Sklearn, what it is. Moise, would you take this question? Recommended libraries.
Sure. So there are a lot of libraries that kind of form the foundations of the data scientists. NumPy, Pandas, which is very essential for working with tabular data. Think of it as a replacement for Microsoft Excel encoding. For TensorFlow and PyTorch are libraries that are used for deep learning. When you want to train deep learning models, for example, to recognize pictures, whether it's a cat or a dog. And scikit-learn is a library that's used mainly for traditional machine learning. So there's a difference between machine learning and deep learning. They all fall under AI, but all of these libraries, they form your basic toolkit as a data scientist.
and there are thousands of libraries. Let me add
Yeah.
that, there are thousands of libraries. So, depends on the job role that you actually go ahead and take care of, what libraries you'll be working with, more or less. Go ahead, guys. I saw that a few other people also had questions. Jerry, you had a question.
Yes. Guys, I have two questions actually.
Yeah.
The first question is actually after the course completion, after we get certified, we will be disconnected from you, or even after the course completion also, you will have any doubt or something. If you have, then we will support. It's the first question. My second question is actually I have 20 years of experience in telecom. Currently, I'm in Dubai. So, what are the opportunities available in Gulf countries? I mean, after complete the course, the job opportunities in Gulf countries. This is my second question. Yes.
Okay, so let me answer the first part, and Moise will probably take the second part of the question. Okay, so let me just give you an idea. First of all, when you go ahead and work with Xaltius, so Xaltius, we consider you as a part of our extended family. Okay, so if you have any problem, any doubt, anything as such, you can always go ahead and get in touch with us, even after completion of your course, and we will be more than happy to go ahead and assist you. However, there are some limitations to it. Okay, we cannot go ahead and build a complete project on your behalf that takes like a week or a month or something. But again, if you get stuck anywhere with anything, you can always go ahead and get in touch with us. We will be more than happy to go ahead and assist you with that. Now, Moise is already working in Europe. We know, both of us know a lot of people who are working in the Gulf region also. You come from a telecom background. I too come from electronics and communication engineering background. So I totally get, where you're coming from and about the opportunities. But I would like to get Moise's views on this also. Moise, he is in Dubai right now, and he's looking for opportunity for data science in Gulf countries. I know there's a lot, but I would like you to go ahead and add to that also.
So I personally have a lot of colleagues who are in the Gulf countries who had a background originally in engineering, some in mechanical, some in electronics. One like he who was in communications, who are working now in more computer science oriented fields, mainly as data scientists. And the thing is, like, your domain expertise, it does help you out here. Personally, for me, like I mentioned before, originally I did a bachelor's in mechatronics with a specialization in robotics. So my domain expertise still carries over, and I'm able to combine that with data science. So I'm also, in addition to working on AI models, I'm also able to apply those models to robotics. So your domain expertise does not really go to waste. You are an asset because you have 27 years of expertise in the telecom sector, and you can combine that whatever you learn in the data science domain to become even more valuable to employers.
That is true, and exactly as Moise says, and this is for all of you. Okay, when you go ahead and learn data science, it's not that you're going to forget everything that you did and you start from scratch. Consider data science as an additional weapon into your arsenal. It's not like you're going to be doing something totally different. Okay, but it's an add-on, it's an additional weapon that you have, and it gets combined with all the skill sets, all the work that you have actually done. And with after learning data science, you become more data driven. You understand the logic behind it, how things actually happen, and then you go ahead and combine mathematics and bit of coding here and there, and that's how you go ahead and move forward. And that's the world that we live in right now, with 5G coming into the picture. We all know, if there's anybody who does not know what Chat GPT is, probably you have been living under a rock right now. Okay, so it's the new thing. And as all of you know, with metaverse coming into the picture, there's going to be more and more dependency on artificial intelligence, data science. It's the pathway to take. See, there is absolutely no question that data science or AI is the right choice or not. The only question is, how should I go ahead and study it? Where should I go ahead and study it from? That's where we go ahead and come into the picture. We can go ahead and pitch you what we actually do, how we have been training people, and that's more or less how we go ahead and are going to rest our case. But to answer specifically to your question, absolutely, there are so many opportunities that I know personally, in Dubai, in Saudi, just to let you know, in the field of data science, and these are pretty highly paid also, for that matter.
So just to add one thing, your domain is still a technical one. You're from electronics engineering. I personally know someone who was a major in pharmacology, and they decided to pursue a path in data science, and now they're working in a very big drug manufacturing company. And they use their expertise in pharmacology along with data science because that's basically a big driving force in how drugs are made now, how tests are run, how like it plays a big role. So even that domain, which is not really technical in our sense, it's not really engineering, it's biology. Like even that was utilized, and data science just gave her a push. It accelerated her in her career, and it will do the same for all of you.
We also
domain
have a
expertise.
few trainers. We also have a few trainers who work on genomics right now. You know, come from a completely different background, from a biology background, as you mentioned. Does that answer your question, Javi? Do you have a follow-up question, or if anybody else has any more question?
Yeah, I got answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier. I'm looking forward to seeing you into the program.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking for when the batch is going to start. Actually, any idea you have?
You can go ahead and check it on the website. Plus, I'll also have to check the time zone that you're in right now, because you know, I can.
I'm GMT +4 actually.
No, I figured that out, but let me just check the start date of the batch one more time, so that I do not go ahead and give you any wrong information. We have a batch starting very soon. The next batch that we have starting is starting from 20th of May.
20th. Okay, fine. What are the timings? Timing is very important for me. Saturday and Sunday. What timing?
I'll have to double check on that, but if I'm right, it is close to 4 p.m. Singapore time, Saturday, Sunday.
4 p.m. Singapore. Huh?
Correct. But
okay, what is the GMT time for Singapore? What is it?
So Singapore is 8 GMT +8. If I'm right.
GMT +8. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So you can just check with your counselor. They can guide you with it, and we can go ahead and get started. We just had a batch that started last week also. So if you want, you can join that also. It's up to you. Okay.
Okay, I'll check with the counselor. Anyway, one person is always following with me. Let me check with him. No problem.
All right. Great. Anybody else has any more questions?
Yes, I wanted to confirm finally if this program is fully sponsored.
Daniel, where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
When you say it's fully sponsored, what do you mean by that?
Okay, like when I get the mail, I saw a scholarship that is a scholarship.
Okay, so scholarship more or less defines it's not 100% scholarship that you get. It's up to 50% scholarship that you get. Plus, we also run some scholarship for Singapore participants. So that's a different thing altogether. But it's not 100% scholarship that you get. You can check with your counselor. You can submit your resume to them. They can have a look at it, and they can forward it to the jury, and we can go ahead and see what is the best scholarship that we can offer based on your past, your requirement, and accordingly we can proceed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Anybody else have any more questions, guys? All right, I don't see any more question popping up, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Thank you all of you for being a part of this session. I really enjoyed it. I hope you all did too. And I would like to thank Moise also for taking out time from his busy schedule, especially on a Saturday, and taking this time to give you all an idea and take your small dive into the world of data science. Thank you, Moise, once again.
My pleasure.
All right, so thank you once again, guys. It was really nice connecting. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you into the program. You have a wonderful day ahead and a great weekend. Thank you once again. This is me, Sanket, and Moise signing off. You have a nice day. Bye-bye. Take care.